Welcome to a Community Partners interview where we explore the organizations, opportunities, and resources that look to make change in our daily lives. I'm your host, Nafisah Anif, and you're listening to Voices for Ability Radio, all abilities, all the time. Today, I'm joined by IIana Stoch, the director for Camp Kodiak. Camp Kodiak is an integrated summer program for children and teens with and without learning disabilities, ADHD, and autism spectrum disorder. They offer an integrated social skills program, an academic program, and over 50 exciting activities. Their staff is comprised of teachers, child and youth care workers, social workers, and other professionals, as well as college and university students. Thank you so much for joining us today, IIana.
Thank you for having me.
Amazing. So tell us a little more about you and what inspired you to work at Camp Kodiak. Why work with individuals with disabilities?
Well, I think I need to share my origin story, which is really my dad's story. And he's the one who started Camp Kodiak. My dad grew up at a time when learning disabilities, quote unquote, didn't exist. And so he really struggled in school. He ended up in grade 8 3 times and grade 9 twice before his parents allowed him to drop out of school. And he quickly realized that the job opportunities that were available to him without a high school diploma were quite limited. And that really wasn't the future that he saw for himself. So as difficult as it was, he finished his high school diploma at night, and then he decided to go on to university. And he attended what's now Concordia University, which was called Sir George Williams University at the time. And he completed an undergraduate degree at night. And then he decided he wanted to become a teacher, and he went to Teachers College. And he always had his sights set on working with children and students who struggled in the academic environment because he could associate with that. And so he was a special education teacher his entire career. And while he was teaching, he went back to school and got his master's degree from McGill University in special education. And while he was working on his master's, he had an opportunity to work with someone named Dr. Renee Stevens, who had a very prescriptive literacy program that was affiliated with the Montreal Children's Hospital. And while he was doing this, Dr. Renee Stevens said that she was going to take the students on a 4-day camping trip. And my dad was absolutely shocked, and he couldn't understand why it would be so important to move away from this program that it was so hard for students to be a part of, and where they needed so much academic remediation. And then once he got there, he really saw the difference that being in that outdoor environment made for each of them. These students who felt so hopeless within the confines and within the expectations of the academic environment just absolutely thrive. And so he thought to himself, if that could happen in such a short amount of time, what could happen if it was longer? And so he spent many years running programs for different organizations. He worked at other camps. And then finally, an opportunity arose where he had the ability to start his own program. And so that happened in 1991. And then we actually moved to our very own permanent site in 1998. And the rest is history.
You know, the best stories to share are those that come straight from the heart. And I'm so grateful that you shared that, because it really, you know, I can see that Camp Kodiak was definitely born out of chance, let's say, and it's made such a difference.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for sharing that.
My pleasure.
So while doing some of my research, I saw that you have a couple of programs that you offer. Can you tell us a little more about those programs?
We have a 1-week program for 6 to 9-year-old campers, and we call it Kodiak Junior. It's an introduction to overnight summer camp, and there is there's a lot of structure campers don't get to self-select activities very much. We really try and keep the group together with the same staff basically all day to make it easier for them to manage in this new environment, to take risks, and also to feel safe and secure around trusted adults. We have our regular Camp Kodiak program where campers come for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, or 7 weeks. And that's for definitely ages 10 and older, but also if there are some campers who have done a year or two of Kodiak Junior, or they are just generally more adventurous, they're welcome to join us for a longer session as well if they're under the age of 10 and we have an appropriate group. And they have an opportunity to do all of the different activities at camp. So because Kodiak Junior is only 1 week in length, it means that they won't get a chance to try nearly as many activities. But if campers are coming for a longer period, then they have a chance to try a much greater selection. And some things that are involved in both the Kodiak Junior program and our regular programs, our social skills program is embedded into everything we do. So our staff are trained on how to find and create teachable moments throughout the day so that they're happening in context. These tweaks, these revisions, these supports, so that they really understand how to apply and refine positive social skills. We also have an academic tutoring program Monday to Friday for just under an hour right after breakfast for our longer sessions. And that helps campers keep fresh all of the material, skills, and concepts that they need to review over the long summer break. That way, come September, they feel prepared for the new school year. And then, as I mentioned, we have many different activities. We have over 50 different activities. So we have a core group of about 20 activities that campers rotate through with their cabin group. And then we have all these other activities that campers can select as an elective or a choice activity. So we have a full waterfront with canoeing, kayaking, sailing, stand-up paddleboarding, swimming, our water inflatables, water skiing, wakeboarding, kneeboarding, archery, land sports like soccer, softball, basketball, floor hockey, beach volleyball, frisbee, high ropes, rock climbing, tennis, arts and crafts, drama, team building, and initiative tasks. Those are all activities they get to participate in with their cabin group. And then some of those elective activities or choice activities include pottery, stained glass, photography, video, fencing, fishing, martial arts. I'm sorry, I've lost track. Guitar,
No
vocal
problem.
music, creative writing, drawing and cartooning, Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering, that's very popular at camp, horseback riding, and a number of other activities. So we hope that by giving campers a wide assortment of activities to either try for the first time or to try again, they'll discover and nurture some hidden talents. And our rule at Camp Kodiak is that wherever you're scheduled to be, if you really don't want to do an activity, that is absolutely fine. We are never going to force a camper to do it. We will tell them that the expectation is that they are dressed and ready for the activity, but once they're there, it's completely up to them how much they choose to participate. So we're encouraging them to push themselves outside their comfort zone and to take a risk. But if they tell us that they don't want to do something, we absolutely respect that. And then that way campers have some autonomy about what they're doing and how much they're doing. But if they're dressed and ready for the activity, then at least they have an opportunity to engage even a little bit or to change their mind and participate for the entire period. If they aren't dressed, for example, If they're not wearing a bathing suit for a water activity, there's no way that we can even encourage them to do it because they're not going to go in with all of their clothes. And so we find that campers might even try it for just a few minutes, and then maybe the next time they're there, they'll do it for a bit longer. And sometimes having that positive peer pressure of their cabin mates saying, "Oh, come on, it's a lot of fun. Why don't you join? I'll do it with you." That might be enough to motivate them to take that risk and give it a try. And the way we group our cabins is by best social fit. That's also age appropriate. And so we're not just lumping cabin groups together based on the year that they're born or the grade that they've just completed. Those are important variables, but we meet all of our prospective campers in a Zoom meeting so that we get a sense of their personality, of where they're at socially, of their hobbies, their interests, and how they relate to someone new. And we take all of that information and we look at who we think will connect with each other and who is most likely to develop meaningful relationships and hopefully friendships. And that's how we group our cabins together.
Wow, I just wish that these programs could be all year round instead of only in the summer. Oh, wow, that sounds like such a lot of fun, so much action, so many people just coming together, to enjoy themselves, to make friends, maybe learn new skills that they didn't even realize they were going to learn.
Exactly. And campers tell us that they find their people at camp because many of them don't have the opportunity to attend a specialized program or school. And so they often feel like they're the only ones who go through life and experience life the way they do. And then they get to camp and they find these other people who get it, who are like them. And that is so incredibly validating.
It really is that idea of the shared
Mm-hmm.
experience, and it may not be identical,
No,
but the fact that it's similar and the fact that they can relate to one another, well, that's just the icing on the cake.
absolutely.
And can you tell me what Camper Zone is all about?
On the website, you mean?
Yes.
Camper Zone is just an opportunity for prospective campers or even returning campers to go take a look at photos from the past summer, give them a bit more information. We really want campers to want to come to camp. We don't want them to feel like they're being forced into it, that their parents have made a decision completely separate from them and from their ideas and opinions and wishes. And so we want campers to be excited and feel comfortable with the idea of coming to camp.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Kind of like a blast from the past, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And are there any restrictions to the services at Camp Kodiak, like age, disability type, caregivers, or family members only, things of that nature?
There are, unfortunately. We wish that we could be something for everyone, but unfortunately, if we tried to do that, we wouldn't be able to provide the best experience for the people for whom our program was designed. And so the campers who are successful at Camp Kodiak are those who have a learning disability, ADHD, ASD level 1, um, or maybe their diagnosis is anxiety or Tourette syndrome or OCD, but we're able to support their needs. Um, and we also have campers who are neurotypical who attend. It's essential that all campers are able to manage all of their personal care and hygiene independently. It is important that campers who might have a bit of a mobility issue are still able to get the most out of camp. Our activity areas are far apart from each other. We don't have any paved roads or pathways. And so all of our campers need to be able to navigate the camp terrain successfully. We've had campers with mild CP who have been very successful, but we've also had some campers with mild CP for whom the terrain was just too much. So it's really important that we have a good understanding of what campers' needs are so that we can make sure that we're likely to set them up for a successful experience. Because if there's a camper who feels that they're always left behind or feeling left behind because everyone else is able to manage something that they're struggling with, that's not really a great feeling for them. And so we want to make sure that our camp is going to provide them with that successful experience. And if we feel like there's a camp that is better suited to a camper and their needs, we will actually refer them that way because we want them to have an amazing summer. And if that means that it's a different program that provides that to them, we would prefer that they're able to access that amazing experience.
Of course, for sure. Without using any names, can you share a success story with me? What supports were put in place when someone asked for help?
It's hard to think of just one that stands out. We have such amazing parent and camper testimonials that we've collected over 35 years. But in general, what we find is that we are constantly providing campers with opportunities for success. And so we spend a lot of time with our counselors during training, which is a 9.5 intensive days um, of training to make sure that they are able to set our campers up for success. And that means whether it's teaching a life skill like folding a t-shirt or something at an activity like learning to shoot a jump shot at basketball. We will train our staff to take those skills and break them down and use a variety of teaching methodologies to make sure they're starting where campers are and giving them the skills to go to the next level or to that next step. And then we're recognizing success along the way because success for one camper will look different than success for another camper. For example, if you have a camper who has never done rock climbing before and they are scared of heights, just putting on a harness, allowing themselves to put on a helmet as well and to be clipped in to the belay system and touch the climbing wall, that might be a huge success for them. And so we'll recognize that and celebrate it. For another camper who has done rock climbing many times, maybe getting to the top of the wall is really not a huge success for them. And so we will differentiate for them to challenge them, to push them to achieve something new. So maybe it's doing it blindfolded. Maybe it's not using all of the hand and foot holds that are there and being really specific about which ones they need to use to try and get themselves to the top. So we're always looking at ways to create successful moments for our campers and then recognizing those successes either individually or as a big group where we're making an announcement in the dining hall to recognize those successes because that recognition helps to build confidence and self-esteem and a willingness to take an even bigger risk the next time. And that's what we want to do while campers are with us. And we see it happening. And we know that our campers are walking taller as they leave camp because they feel good about all the successes that they've had because for each success they've had, they know that, yeah, there are going to be times when they're not successful, and that's okay because those successes will still happen. And that's important.
Wow, amazing. Amazing all around. Are there any events coming up for Camp Kodiak?
We don't have events that happen during the year. We're spending the entire year recruiting staff, planning for the next summer, and attending conferences, professional conferences like Learning Disabilities Association conferences, International Dyslexia Association conferences, ADHD conferences, conferences for educational professionals, so that we're able to stay up to date on best practices, but also to network with educational professionals who are able to share their wealth of knowledge with us or even to refer campers to us.
And if someone wanted to become a member or a volunteer with Camp Kodiak, what's the process for joining as a member or a volunteer?
For campers, our application is right on our website, and it's just at the very top. There's a button that says apply now in the top right-hand corner of the website, and you just follow those links to complete an application. Once the application has been received, then we will contact the parents to find out more. Our application is quite comprehensive. It's several pages because we want to learn about each prospective camper, about their strengths, about their areas of need, about their mental health, about their school successes, about challenges they find in the neighborhood or at school, about past camp experiences. And then with a phone conversation follow-up, we want to learn more about all of that information and answer questions and address concerns that parents might have. And then we would look to set up a Zoom meeting so that we can meet that prospective camper and determine if our program is likely to set them up for success, and if they are, which cabin group would be the best fit for them. For potential staff members, again, they can go right on our website and they just follow the staff links, and there's a link that will take them to complete a staff application so that they might be able to join us for the summer.
Wonderful. Okay. Now, how many campers do you usually have at any given time?
Last year, we had between 150 to 160 at our highest. Those numbers are still less than where we were at pre-COVID, but we're slowly getting back towards our numbers, which was closer to 190 to 200 campers at a time.
Amazing. I can just imagine what the sense of community must be like when they're all together.
Even though 150 to, even 200 campers feels like a lot of people, it's amazing how familiar the community becomes because we have a weekly campfire. Even if you don't know everyone's name, everyone's face is familiar. We have different times of the day where there's a free swim period and the whole camp is down at the beach. We have a period called free play right after dinner where the whole camp is in the main camp area and they get to choose what they're doing and who they're spending that time with. And so people see those faces, and so they're familiar. They might not know their name, but they're familiar. They recognize them.
That's definitely the benefit of having such a close-knit group. What is the one thing that you see happening over and over again to people with disabilities that shouldn't be happening? And how do we stop it?
Oh, there are so many things. We see people being underestimated by outsiders, by peers, by themselves. I think that's one of the biggest things. We also see people trying to be something that they aren't, either masking so that they are trying to fit in and be accepted, or trying to present themselves in a way that they're not, again, for acceptance. And I really feel like everyone just needs to be their authentic self, and they will find meaningful connections because people will gravitate to them because of who they are. And those are the most important and most meaningful people in your life anyway. And so it's always best to just be yourself and be true to who you are and what's important to you.
Thank you for that. What's the one thing that everyone needs to know about Camp Kodiak?
Camp Kodiak is a place where people can be themselves and gain skills, social skills, life skills, and also skills at different areas. And they can leave feeling good about themselves and hopefully having made at least one friend. We talk about Camp Kodiak being a place of fun, friends, and success. And that's the type of experience that we try and build for each of our campers.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. And if listeners are looking for more information, how can they reach out to you?
The easiest way is to visit our website, which is just campkodiak.com. They can also find us on socials like Instagram and Facebook. We have lots of videos on YouTube. There are many different ways that they can connect with us. They can also just give us a call at 905-569-7595, and we're always happy to chat.
Thank you so much. Well, we are out of time.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Well, my friends, this concludes another Community Partners interview. Let's care, let's share, because we've all been there. I'm your host, Nafisah Anif, signing off until next time.